And so as it is, we are back.
Yeah, I'm getting a strong sense of deja vu at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like that was only about 2 minutes ago. It's quite a quick swap over, Steve. I won't ask how you are, because I know. Mandy was already here before. I'll tell you what, Mandy was here before I got here.
Impressive.
Billy Bob has once again caressed the like button, so please follow suit. He also says, Moisey, jog on. He asks, Happy Hammerette, are you slacking? I answered that question, and so did Billy Bob. Hey ho. Sharky's here with a little salute. Good to see you. We got 6, so we'll get this underway, Steve. So, as I said earlier, I would do a little review here.
Oh, yes.
For my brother's game on Saturday. They played Thames United in the 3rd round of the London Junior Cup. London Junior Saturday Cup. Unfortunately, Andy really isn't well this evening. He's not been well for the last few days. He's under a bit of pressure with work, along with a man flu. So he won't be joining us this evening. We wish him well and hope he does get better soon. But that's the reason he's absent from the shows this evening. He did try his best to get on with us, but unfortunately, it was just the medication and such has taken its toll, the poor sod. So, Andy's not going to be here. So if you want to leave because we're boring, we also understand. Let's say third round of the London Junior Saturday Cup. Thames United. It was Long Lane at home. It was delayed kickoff due to the referee having to referee a match on another pitch. So we had to wait for the joys of Saturday, lower league football. We had to wait for him to finish his game, so he came over. We kicked off about half an hour late. It was a rough first 15, 20 minutes for Long Lane. Kind of misreading the ball, misreading situations, a lot of missed headers because the balls bounced through. I think the pitch was a lot harder than some of the players gave it credit for. Injury to one of the centre-backs for Long Lane really did disrupt. We were already 3-4 injuries within the squad, and for one of the main centre-backs to pick up a quad injury in the first 20 minutes really wasn't good. But a reshuffle of the pack by my brother, it paid dividends. Started getting back into the game, getting our foot on the ball, organising a bit better. And we went 1-0 up on 43 minutes. Some really good football. Young lad Kyle broke through, beat the keeper. Went in at 1-0 at half time, come out second half, and it was very much the same then as the latter part of the first half. They went 2-0 up. The referee was under a bit of pressure from the opposition. They kind of didn't like some of the decisions that were going against them, and I feel if we were losing 2-0, I'd probably feel the same way. Slightly aggrieved. Game was made safe by a young player called Wilfred. He rounded the goalkeeper. I'll give the goalkeeper his due for Thames United. He was actually their centre back, their goalkeeper. His car broke down on the way to the stadium, but to the game, couldn't get there, so the defender had to park up in goal and concedes a fourth in the 90th minute. Thames United think there should have been a free kick in the middle of the park. Everyone surrounded the referee, including their 2 centre-backs who came charging up the pitch to the halfway line to have their word with the referee. The amusing part was then because of that, there were no one to then block one of the 16-year-old debutantes of my brother's team from going through and making it 4-0. So they're into the 4th round of the cup. Good performance. Really pleased with my brother. And onwards they go. The long lane. If you want to check them out, they are in the NRG. The NRG sponsored league. It's the NRG 24-hour gym sponsored league, and they're in Division 1 West. So if anyone wants to check it out, please do. But enough of that. Let's move on to all things and everything West Ham. So in the preview, Steve, the review of the last game, we obviously spoke about the possibility of new managers and someone coming in and replacing David Moyes probably at the end of the season. Thank you, Sharky. He's doing really well as manager up there. He's only 31. He's got his UEFA B now. We discussed, I think, at the end of one of these videos, it's going to cost him about $4,500 to get his A, and then something like 11 grand to get his FIFA Pro license, which is just ridiculous amounts of money. But he's doing well, and if we can get him to get his A badge, get into some of the lower leagues, maybe then they'll put him on his FIFA Pro, and they'll cover a lot of the cost for him, which would be nice. He's doing really well. I'm not quite saying he's going to be ready for West Ham in the next few years, Steve, but the guys on the review were talking about replacing Moyes and how we can't sustain this style of football. Happy mentioned that she thinks he's going to be here to the end of the season. If that's the case, Steve, and let's play on. You got one manager to pick that you can have to start next season. Where would you go? Who would your choice be?
Alonso. He's worked with Steiden before, hasn't he?
He has.
Everybody said he's waiting for the Real Madrid job. Well, it doesn't look like he's getting that. A lot of the jobs he was tipped to get are being closed down, cut his teeth in the Premier League. Yeah, I could see him being our next manager. And I know people keep saying, oh, that's not possible, this, that, and the other, he's on for bigger things. Well, yeah, but if the bigger jobs aren't there, he could do an awful lot worse than come to West Ham. We're not the Man Cities of this world, but we're a good, solid Premier League side. We're a decent sized club that people would notice him at. So, yeah, I fancy him, to be honest.
I mean, listen, the rumours are that there's a hefty chunk of change going to be involved in trying to remove Alonso from his current contract at
15 mil, I've heard.
Yeah, at Leverkusen. I think the only issue there, Steve, would be that he's going to be possibly and more than likely going to be Champions League football next season.
Yeah.
If he stays at Leverkusen, which for me would be a bigger reason to stay at Leverkusen rather than leave. So I think add that to the chunk of change that you're going to be looking at to remove him from his current contract. I think the club would overlook that. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with you by saying you want him. I think he'd be a fantastic manager, and I also think that if you're willing to pay that, again, West Ham will be another stepping stone towards that Real Madrid job. I know Real Madrid want the Zebri. Is that right? From Brighton, I understand was.
Yeah, I find that odd, but there you go.
I mean, I do and I don't. I mean, if my memory serves, he's an Italian manager who has very little pedigree. In the same way that Alonso has very little pedigree. I just think that the Zebri did it. Was it last? Well, no, he's been there this year, hasn't he? I just think that he's the sort of manager that has worked on what he's worked with there at Brighton. Alonso, I think, might need maybe another year to prove his worth. So possibly, But I also think that that's a big chunk of change, and I don't think the board would pay it.
But you say that though, that if you're paying out, I don't know, 50 million for a player, the manager is the heart and soul of the club.
Well, we're not going to be looking at a manager, are we? We're going to be looking more at a first team coach. And the heartbeat of the team or the club would be Tim Steiten now, So with that being said, and you're looking at a head coach, I mean, Mandy for me's got it right. Mandy says about giving Potter a spin. Epic's in the chat. Good evening, Epic. We went, yep, no. She says give Potter a spin. He's Premier League proven. I'm there as well. I really am. I think Potter's a fantastic manager. I think Potter's a project manager. And I think someone like him, working alongside someone like Tim Steiden with his knowledge of youngsters, you got to bear in mind that that's what Potter was really good at Brighton.
But by all accounts, from what I've read, Sullivan isn't sold on Potter. He just thinks it's what the backroom staff provided him with. So
possibly, but then bringing the backroom staff with him, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, Potter will be working in exactly the same system he was at Brighton. He's made for the job. Am I convinced to be the right man? I don't know. I mean, he couldn't cut it at Chelsea, but then let's face it, who can?
Listen, I don't think I don't think Potter. I don't think. Sorry, where were we? My brain's gone dead.
Graham Potter, Chelsea.
Yeah. Listen, everyone, even Pochettino, mate, is currently on a hiding to nothing at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Listen. Chelsea have a habit. They sacked two managers off the back of winning Champions League trophies. They sacked they sacked Di Matteo, if you remember rightly, after they won the Champions League.
Didn't he get the start of the season though? Didn't Di Matteo get the start of the season?
But so did Tuchel.
Yeah.
So they have a habit of this, and I don't think it's the manager's. I don't think it's the manager's, issue necessarily at Chelsea. Chelsea, I just think right now is a poison chalice. As I said, I think. I think. I just think that managers Pochettino's gone there, and I think he's now seeing just exactly how hard it was going to be. Just go back a bit. Where are we? Happy's joined us. Billy Bob asked, so what time do you call this?
Yeah, I know.
Happy asked Epic, don't you ever get tired of being grouchy? To which Epic replied, never. Happy's now home. And then the one and only Green Street Elites, Budgie, has joined us. Good evening, Budgie.
Earthlings.
Really, really good to see. Happy agrees with you, though, that it wasn't just, or agrees with Sullivan, should we say, that it wasn't just Potter, it was his backroom staff. So, she's there. Billy Bob agrees. He says there it's hard to base how good Potter would be. Easy job at Brighton, hard one at Chelsea. But I think that, we've got to give him. You've got to give someone a punt, haven't you? You've got to give someone a go.
I'll say this now, and I'll put it out there. He can't cope with big money players. Yeah, now that I see, Budgie. Steiden already knows who he wants. He's already said.
You'd be foolish if you didn't.
Yeah, he's already sounded them out, and I already think our next manager is pretty much in place if Moyes goes. Now you've got to remember, say Moyes wins the Europa League, you can't sack him.
Well, you wouldn't be sacking him, Steve. You'd let his contract run out because his contract's up at the end of the season. You just don't renew it.
Yeah. Look, I think you'd be very hard pushed to move on from a manager who's given you 2 European trophies in 2 seasons.
Yeah, but again, if you don't want to renew it, you don't renew it. I personally do think Moyes has taken us as far as he can take us. I don't think there is any further that he can.
No, I don't either. But I'm just saying, in that scenario, I think he keeps his job.
I don't think they'd renew it. I don't think the club want to. I really don't. I don't think there's a way that they can save face by doing so. When you consider the uproar of the style of football that we are actually playing, I think there's too many. There are too many people against it, and I just don't think that it's going to be quite straightforward as just going, have another one. I think that the club are looking. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they watch these shows, but I do believe they do listen to the fans. I do.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think it's very difficult to not when you've got social media in the way that it is. Happy apologises that she was behind the stream and repeating shit. Said this morning, wait for the stupid links to Cooper and then talk shite, reports and bollocks about it this afternoon. I was going to bring that up as well, Happy. Steve, the links with Steve Cooper at Forest, what do you make of them?
No, I don't want him. No. Where's he going to take us? What's he going to do more than Moyes has done? You've got to have a manager. It's Steiden's project, right? So you're going to have a manager that takes us on.
You say Steiden and Budgie says he's lined up Big Sam.
Yeah, fortunately, I can't imagine that.
Not.
No, but Cooper won't take us forward. Won't be any more than Moyes is. So why would you change Moyes for Cooper? I think it will be somebody relatively obscure we haven't heard of.
I do. I completely agree there. Just quickly, Lois Openda has put RB Leipzig 1-0 up at the Etihad Stadium against Manchester City.
I've got Paris Saint-Germain and Newcastle on in the background.
I believe that one is still 0-0, Steve. Am I correct?
0-0, yeah. And how it's 0-0, I'll never know. Paris Saint-Germain, from the brief bits I've seen, they seem to be eating them alive.
Well, listen, let's just hope that Newcastle can hold on. AC Milan are beating Dortmund in the other game in that group. So,
okay,
still something there for Newcastle to grip onto. So you don't agree with Cooper then, Steve? No, you don't think that's
No, I just don't think it'd be any different. I don't think what I think you need somebody young who's got some new ideas. And what I mean by new ideas is there's a lot of the established managers have a certain way of playing and a certain method of playing, and that's all well and good. But you need somebody who can take that model, break it, and do something different for a club like West Ham.
Well, I think that's why we need to start looking probably abroad.
Yeah.
Personally, I've been asked the question, Sharky, any managers in Germany think could do a good job at West Ham? Well, you say that, Sharky, and obviously, other than Alonso, who we've already mentioned, there are a couple of managers in Germany that are they're decent. But the problem is, once you look outside the top 6, who are going to be playing European football for the most part near enough every year in Germany, you're not finding anything special. It's a guy called Marco Rose at Leipzig, and I've just mentioned them being 1-0 up against Man City.
Mind me, Newcastle have gone 1 up.
Newcastle are 1 up. Go on, the Geordies. He's 41 years old, Marco Rose. He's been in charge of Leipzig since 2022. So he joined them at the start of the 2022-20. So this season, actually, Jesus, no, last season. Sorry. He was previously at Dortmund and Mönchengladbach. He also had spells in Austria as a Salzburg manager, which is obviously the Red Bull, sister club, if you will. So he's now at Leipzig. He's been there for 18 months. I actually like him. I actually think he's a good manager. He again, the problem is he was a defender. So looking in the same sort of thing as Moyes. I like him. I like him as a manager. I would have to but do a bit more research on this one, and I may well do. He's described the basic ideas of his playing style as emotionality, hunger, and being active. We want to be very active against the ball, sprint a lot. We want to win high balls and have short ways to the goal. We don't want to play high and wide, but fast, dynamic, and actively forward. He stated a preference for a 4-4-2 diamond, saying, I've always played a diamond, and when I've had the opportunity to do it, bringing in two strikers. Our system, even when we play three up front, is something like a diamond. However, he has used 4-3-3 and 4-2-3-1s at Mönchengladbach.
The thing is, we talk about foreign managers, but managing in the Premier League is a unique experience. It is a totally different beast from managing anywhere else.
It is, and I agree with you, but let's be honest, you only have to look. Some managers have come in out of that league and have made a success. Jurgen Klopp being a prime example. I don't think Tuchel did too badly at Chelsea. I mean, I would have loved Nagelsmann personally, but that's not going to happen. I mean, give you a bit more information. When he was with Salzburg, 2017, 2018, the team won the Austrian Championship and reached the semi-finals of the Europa League, beating teams like Dortmund and Lazio. They lost to Sturm Graz in the final of the Austrian Cup. When he went to Gladbach, he managed Gladbach he got them to the Champions League, where he managed to make the knockout stages. He then went to Dortmund, where he led Dortmund to a second place finish in the Bundesliga.
Right.
And then they mutually agreed to part ways. And in May last year, and then September last year, he took over at Leipzig. They beat on June this year. They beat Eintracht Frankfurt in the FA Cup final, such their FA Cup, the DFB Polka, and he extended his contract this year to 2025. So there might be a bit of a cash that needs to be thrown at him again to get him out. Just go back through some of the chats while I've been over there.
Whoever is appointed, it is possibly the most critical decision we'll have made over a manager ever, because they're coming into a team that's in a decent and strong position, and we want them to take them forward.
Yeah,
you've got to be absolutely certain the bloke you're getting in can do that, and that's why. I mean, I've got no clue who can do that job. I mean, obviously somebody like Pep Guardiola could do it, but he's not coming to us, is he? Klopp.
You could ask him to. I don't think he would.
No, exactly. We're not going to get an elite, well-proven manager. So we need to try and find somebody up and coming who's that good.
Agreed.
And so I can't think of anyone. They've already said Will Still no, haven't they? He's not experienced enough.
I believe so, yes.
And that I get, to be honest. He needs a few more seasons. I think he's going to be a absolutely outstanding manager. But is he ready for the rigours of the Premier League? Possibly not. But the other thing is, how many times? I mean, when Slav took over the team, we got rid of Allardyce, and the idea was we were going to get a top-class manager. In the end, the only person who was half decent who would take it was Slav. And we don't want to be in that position again. We want to be getting somebody of high quality. I don't mind if they're not heard of. We've never heard of them. But they've got to be good. They've got to be really good. And that's going to be the thing that, moving on from Moyes, pivots around. The next managerial appointment is crucial. If we want the football we want, if we want the success we want, you have got to get this one right.
Yeah, I mean, Budgie's just mentioned about a guy in Germany, Stefan Lati. Not heard much about him. I need to go have a look at that one, Budgie. I might do a little get together of German managers, maybe 3 or 4 for next week that I do like the look of. There are some fantastic talents in Germany and Austria. Players, even maybe some of the under 21 managers out there, Budge. There's a few of them in Germany, again, up and coming managers. You'll find that a lot of the Bundesliga managers do end up starting at the reserve teams or the second sides, if you will. For instance, the guy that you've just mentioned, Stefan Leite, although he's at Hanover 96 at the moment, he actually started back in 2014, so nearly 10 years ago now, at Ingolstadt, but as their second side manager, their reserve side manager. Did that for 3 years, then moved into the main job, and then on to Gruther Firth, and then on to Hanover 96. So a lot of their good managers actually do start at the second team level. Give you an idea, Ingolstadt, he was there for 3 years. He had 97 games. He won 34, drew 31, lost 32. Moved up into their first team, 40 games, 14 wins, 11 draws, 15 defeats. He seems to be, in total, he's managed 309 games. He's won 104 and lost 111 with a win ratio of 33.6, which, as I understand it, is just a little bit less than the David Moyes is at the moment, isn't it? So it's we'll just have to wait and see.
I just couldn't call it. I have got no idea who we're going to get in. I mean, our summer signings, if you said who you're going to sign in the summer, I never would have picked that bunch, but they've been very good.
Oh, they've been fantastic, and you can't knock what's been done by Steiten and the board as such, So
No.
I have no doubt that whatever they decide to do, they're going to get it right. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
they're going to get it right. Guys in the chat. To be honest, other than the managerial side of things, I didn't really have much coming into this video. Are there any questions you want to put to me and Steve? You guys in the chat, chuck a few questions in. We'll go for another 15, 20 minutes, and we'll take your. We'll answer your questions for you. I think that'll be a good one. We'll wait and see. We'll see what comes out. Budgie says here, I read that he had 321 players from the academy in the first team in Ingolstadt. He did. I've just read that myself. Going through his little blurb. He does like to bring some of the youngsters through. So possibly, Steve. We have our first question. Luke Legend wants to know: do you like owls?
Do I like owls?
Yeah. I don't think he means Sheffield Wednesday. I think he means the birds.
feather types. Well, hard to say because I don't know any personally. But
That's
seriously,
a great answer.
yeah, I think they're very attractive looking creatures, or clearly very intelligent creatures. Yeah, I do. When it comes to animals, I'm not a great, you know, animal lover. I appreciate them, and stuff. But yeah, I think owls are a very elegant bird. They're nice to look at.
Luke, I hope you get your answer there. Happy? I'm guessing this question's for me. How many pair of Crocs do I own? I actually only own one pair. And as I said to you, I only wear them on holiday.
And I don't own any. Happy.
Any other pairs? Hi Luke. What is the plural of fish?
Fishes. Yes.
I don't think it is. I think it's just fish. A school of fish are fish, aren't they? So I don't think it would be fishes.
Okay, I would have said fishes, but there you go.
It's just listen, your opinion, my opinion. Not going to argue over it. Budgie wants to know what we're doing on Saturday night. I'm actually out Saturday night. I'm actually over at the O2 country music Christmas party. There'll be line dancing and all that kind of shit. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm watching a movie with my daughter, so that's what I'm doing Saturday night.
Hey, fair play to you, my man. Budgie says all birds are intelligent, Steve. He says actually all of us birds
Well, there you go. Yeah.
are intelligent. Luke says brilliant. Sharky asks, what's your favourite ever detective show? Now, I'm going to jump in and ask for a caveat on this. Do you mean kind of police crime solving shows? Do you are we kind of restricted to it being like a touch of Frost, just one, I mean, that side of thing? But go on and tell me, what's your favourite detective show? Just straight off the bat, Steve.
The Sweeney.
Oh, you're a Sweeney man, are you?
Brilliant. Yeah.
Wonder if you'll get any comebacks on that one. Billy Bob says he likes Columbo. I'm actually going to throw one out there completely. What do you know, Budgie? What do you know? Tell me. I'm actually going to go with Castle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was good.
Quite a recent one, wasn't it? With Stania Katic and Nathan Fillion. I actually love that show.
Yeah, very good.
I actually really like that. To the point that, the books he writes in the TV show.
Oh, yeah.
He actually writes books based on Nikki Heat, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone actually wrote a set of 6 books, the same 6 that he writes in the show. They actually wrote in real life.
All right.
And I actually own them, and they are fantastic books. I actually believe they were written by, is it Richard Patterson, the guy that's in the show with them? They play cards.
Oh, yeah.
They actually, think it's him. Billy Bob says Whitechapel.
Okay.
Budgie says O2 Saturday. It had to be a country and western thing. It's country music, Budgie, not country and western. Happy says, I don't watch TV aside from football, but given the refereeing these days, it's like a confusing, faked up drama. Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, yeah.
Very much so. Nathan Fillion is a legend. Lisa, yes, he is.
The best sci-fi show that was never renewed.
Firefly. Oh, I love Firefly.
Yeah, it was absolutely superb.
James Patterson, thank you, Lisa. Any more questions before we decide to wrap this up? Because that's only been 5 minutes, and kind of it's gone really quickly, and we're still here. We've done 2 videos, and we've kind of we're kind of exhausted everything, really, Steve, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's no point talking about the Palace game yet because we've got Toppler during the week and we've got to do previews for that, not reviews. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I've got a question for the chat. What's your favourite curry? Mine's a jalfrezi.
I don't eat that. No, not my cup of tea.
No, not at all. No, I love curry. Any answers in the chat?
Nothing at the minute, but Sharky wants to know what's our favourite sci-fi show. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Firefly. Actually,
yeah. For me, it's been a lifetime passion. Doctor Who.
Hey, I never got into it, but I do get it. A couple of answers. We got a korma from Sharky.
Yeah.
And then from Budgie, we've got West Indian style curried goat.
Oh, curried goat's nice. Yeah.
Again,
we have roast goat when we go to Tanzania quite a lot. It's absolutely delicious. Terrible for cholesterol, but really lovely.
Billy Bob says Spooks for his detective and Star Trek for his sci-fi.
Yeah, Star Trek was good.
Again, never really got into it. Tell you what, Steve, I'm getting messages from downstairs. I'm guessing someone's got the ump. I'm going to wrap it up there, my man.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Happy asks, why doesn't the glue stick to the inside of the bottle? I've got nothing. I couldn't tell you.
I haven't got a clue.
One of the best questions ever.
Happy, do some research on that and see if you can tell us next time.
Use the Force, says Budgie. Star Wars. Love Star Wars. Love Star Wars. Big Star Wars fan growing up. I can get behind that. Billy Bob says, cheers all. That was a great TV show. No, cheers. I love that. Air activates the glue, says Budgie.
Oh, there you go.
Would make sense, wouldn't it?
It would.
Steve, anything you'd like to add before we call it a day?
No, nothing at all. I'm absolutely shattered here. So, other than I'll be very interested to see what the next two games bring.
We'll be discussing. I think we're live tomorrow night for the preview of the TSV Baka Toppler game. Yeah. That's tomorrow night. Obviously, we're on TV 5:45 on Thursday, which then means we'll be doing a review on Friday, which means then we'll be doing a preview on Saturday, a review on Monday, and this headline show. We'll be back at 8 o'clock next Monday.
Okay. Take care.
Lots of videos coming up, people. If you haven't already done so, please like this stream, subscribe to both channels, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Take care.
Take care, all. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Come on, you Irons. To answer your question, Happy, yes, I will be there Sunday. I'll be coming straight from work, so I'll be there. Probably at the Carpenters or at the Heineken Bar. I'll see you then. Good night, all. Thank you. Take care.